Yes, 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 yes. Namaste. Welcome back to the channel and all that good stuff. Like and follow. Um, I'll try my best not to curse too much today. I'm fixing to go live on Twitter Spaces. This is kind of where I riff and talk and just kind of freestyle some of my teachings. I've written a couple books. You probably know that. You Don't Have to Die Broke and the Money Flow Trading System. And I've been trying to figure out the best way to package and develop and to put out that content into the world. And I've done that through Twitter. I've done that through Instagram. I got 115,000 followers on Instagram, like 25,000 on Twitter, and I don't know, 19,500 something on YouTube. And I'm not a trained teacher or professional talker or any of that stuff. I just like talking about what I call the millionaire blueprint. And a lot of times it kind of looks similar. A lot of us have read books like Robert Kiyosaki and the cash flow quadrant of E, B, I, and S, or S and I. Um, and we're probably doing and trying a lot of the same things. So let me go live before I get carried away here on YouTube. But I appreciate you listening. Um, and, hopefully it's not too boring to listen to this too, because a lot of people ask me the best way to record these Twitter Spaces. A lot of people ask me to record Twitter Spaces, and Twitter doesn't actually allow you to do that. So then you got to think of another way. You could try running it through a speaker, I guess. Hopefully those wind chimes aren't too loud. A lot of different ways we could record it. I may end up having to punch my cat. So we got people coming in. It takes a little minute for people to get in too. I was just saying, I get asked sometimes to record these, and sometimes, I'm like, I don't want to record that, but sometimes I do. So I've taken to trying to shoot video of them sometimes and listen to it back and see if it made any sense. I'm doing this, I've written a couple books. I was just saying that, and I've tried to figure out the best way to teach them, the best platform and medium to share them with the world, right? And, you could do Facebook, you could do YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat, Twitch. I've been thinking about playing around with Twitch. I have a Twitch account. There's TikTok. There's OnlyFans. I mean, I don't know how you use that, but I got my name on there. And they each have their own little groove, They each have their own thing, And, if you don't like doing a lot of editing and don't like dancing, TikTok's probably not your best method for delivering. It's hard for me to say things in 1 minute that actually mean anything, okay? Or in 2 minutes, 3 minutes. And that was one of the early constraints that I had with Instagram. It's like, what can you actually say in 3 fucking minutes, Because I don't know. I mean, you could say a quote, You could be like, you could do it. You could do that. But I don't know if you're going to say a lot that's very profound. It's going to change someone in maybe. I don't doubt the possibility. But I was trying to do this series and I was entitling it "Life is a Trade," and with the idea that it's all a trade, man. Like, you make a trade just to become a trader. And today I do want to talk about the anatomy of trading. I've got this deal that I'm doing on February 11th at my house in New Orleans. Sorry, I dropped this. And it's going to be 8 of us plus a few personal guests of mine, and the professor, the day trade professor's one, and he trades differently than I do. He's a day trader. I'm not. I'm a swing, position, and buy and holder. Very similar, say, in real estate. Some people buy and hold and manage single families. That's what I do. That's how I've made millions of dollars. Other people buy houses, fix them up, and flip them. And while I understand the mechanics of that, that's not what I do day in and day out. I don't do that. So if someone was going to ask me, I would point them to someone that I know that does that, even though I understand the mechanics, and I've flipped a few houses. So that's kind of the idea of having a network or friends around you or people that you can look to. And it's hard, man, because you want those people to be honest. Like, they have to have the intangibles that I was talking about on Instagram yesterday. This, like, work ethic. I can't, like, that's like part of a trading plan, but you can't buy that, and you can't buy honesty. And you say, what do you mean honestly? Like, sticking to your trading plan is being honest with yourself. So if you take a trade that's off plan, you lied to yourself. You said, hey, I've created this plan. I've decided I'm gonna be disciplined. I'm gonna, the 10 cardinals of trading, the 3 minds, health, money method mindset. I've got my entry rules. I have my profit target set. I have my exits. I have my stops here, support and resistance. I've looked at the charts, and then you don't do that. Well, you lied to yourself. And so integrity is a big part of being a successful trader. Like, can you follow a plan even when your plan appears not to be working? Because that's part of the losing process. That's part of the percentage of losses you're going to have. And there's people that lose half their trades and make a lot of money. Well, that only works if you can do it, right? If you don't get freaked out, if it doesn't get you off game. Because if you get off game and you start doing new shit, then you don't know if what you were doing even worked. And so lying to ourselves is a lot, can cause a lot of damage to our trading. Not believing in ourselves or not taking action on our own mind. I recently talked about how I missed the IBM trade. I wasn't, other people in my group took the trade, but I personally did not take it. It's in chapter 10 of my free ebook. It's a dog of the Dow stock this year. It fell under the 200. I'm writing a new book literally on this trading strategy, on when a blue cap stock comes under the 200, if a dividend's sustainable, the further below it goes, the more valuable the stock becomes. And you take on a position trade, and your target is the 200-day moving average. And you just wait. And that strategy is really successful. Now, it takes a fair amount of money, because some of these stocks are $70, $80, and they can drag on. It could take, the one I was looking at today on our live, it could take 4, 5, 6 months before you get that 30, 40, 50% return, and you got paid dividends while building that position and waiting. And so that strategy has it's been lucrative for me, but it takes time, and it takes money, and it takes faith. Like, you have to look in the past, and you have to believe that it's true, and you have to execute on that information. You have to take your money and buy and click the buy. And so IBM, I didn't. I just let it pass. I saw it break out, and I still didn't take the position. Because why? I was doing other things, right? Or just, I wasn't distracted. I saw it. I talked about it. And then it runs up 30, 40%. And the money flow worked. The bread and butter system worked. The strategy worked. And I wasn't in it. What do we do with that? What does that mean? That means the money flow is all around you. It's not just me. It's all of us. This is why we want to be in a group, man. Other people are going to see things you don't see. They might see stocks that you don't know. The hard part, though, when we start to trade in a group, is just because someone's in a group doesn't mean that they can pick stocks. Does it? Does that mean that you should listen? If you got 500 people in your group and everybody picks one, that's chaos. So we have to have a way of sorting and selecting, right? But a group is one way to have a constant stream of leads that you can digest and make a decision on your own, right? And that's part of the unknown of trading. And I wish I could tell you there's a way that you're always going to pick the right one, or you're going to make the right move, and I'd be a billionaire if I could, if that was possible. I do know that the further you go down the rabbit hole, and the closer you stay to the strategy, and the more you reinforce the basics, and the more you stay on it, it's like anything else in life, the more conviction you build. Bible says faith comes by hearing, and you don't even have to be religious to understand why that would be true. So, whether that's just what causes movements, is people listen, and through the power of repetition, it causes conviction, and then they begin to execute on that and follow it. And so in order for a trading strategy to be effective and work, people say, well, I can buy your book. Dude, buying my book ain't gonna make you a good trader. It'll give you the information to be a good trader, but it's the intangibles that I can't give you, that you can't pay for, that are gonna cause you to actually implement the shit that's in the book. And nothing in the book is proprietary. I didn't invent MACD or RSI. right? I just lost a lot of fucking money realizing, hey, this indicator really helps. And then I just turned around and showed that to someone. Said, hey, look at this. Almost every time you buy, when this is green, that's stupid. And when it's down here low, that's really pretty smart. And he said, well, why'd you say it like that? I wanted everyone from a third grader to get it. Like, I didn't want sophistication or the use of a word you might not understand to get in the way between me communicating the message to you. And the guy said to me, well, you say it crude sometimes. I know. I'm trying to help everyone, not just the fancy people. I get guys that write me from prison. Why? Because they saw me write the millionaire code on the board. Time times amount times yield. And I said, I know that. Yeah. For each asset, there's a different time frame. So we could take a house and we could project out how much you would make over the next 5 to 7 years. Right? And we know how much it would cost to buy the house. You see how the component parts begin to fit into the formula of time times amount times yield. And not only that, but action. Right? So if you don't buy the dividend stock, you don't collect the yield, you don't compound. And so you're inputted into the formula, 0, 0, 0. And 0 time invested with 0 amount put in and 0 which would result in 0 yield equals 0. And so all you have to do is begin adding to that formula little bits and pieces to cause a number to come out the other side. And that is the simplest way I can describe creating wealth. I've never heard anybody describe it simpler than what I just said. That's it. And it's so simple when I say it like that, right? And so now we have this device called a phone right here. And whatever your skin color, whatever your age, this is the fucked up part. You could be 16 and probably have an advantage over a guy that's 50, man. I'm 51 years old. So a lot of times people are asking me things, and it's like, dude, I didn't grow up with that. Like, you understand, when you've been learning this, I had a family and fucking responsibilities and a job, and I was working. Like, I can't just sit and play 14 hours of video games. So I might not be up on, you get what I'm saying? Because people are at different places in life. And if you were a PhD student or in law school, you might not be up on all the latest things or all the moves in the stock market. Oh, and you also know everything in baseball, you know, everything happening in this and on this TV series. Like, your brain can only be spread across so many things. It really is true. And again, this is where maybe having a group of people could help you. I don't even necessarily mean my group. Maybe you don't like my group. Maybe you don't like me. Not liking me hasn't changed the fact of the truth of the shit that I say. Yes, it's, well, I don't like the way you deliver it. Well, go listen to somebody else. I mean, if they're talking to you, go listen, I guess. You know? It's a dry subject, you know? You try to reach everyone is tough, man. You know, Jesus, he didn't preach in church like our preachers. You ever notice that? All the religious people gather together in their little conclave like it's a secret. And yet the founders of all those went out into the world. Think about that. Muhammad went around, right, kicking ass. Buddha didn't stay in one spot. How come all of our guys just, he's the pastor of a little church in Arkansas, and that's where he stays. But that's not their example, is it? Jesus went into all the world. He said, go into all the world and preach. And it's not even a religious thing. If you wanted to spread your message of your whatever craft or your music, Kanye West sells music all over the world, guys. You know, in Africa, they buy his shit. Over there in Europe, a bunch of white kids in Sweden jamming out to Kanye West. I've sold books in Saudi Arabia. And yet there's people that choose to stay in that one little town and keep their voice right there on that one little street. And they wonder why they're not getting anywhere. And if you look at the people that are the richest, they have more responsibility, more people hear them. They push into the universe at a much higher level, right? You can call that different things. I hope it's not too windy, man. We're sitting in nature, Mother Nature. Everybody gets mad at me when I post stuff about the earth killing people. Hold on. I'm getting blown out, man. See, Mother Nature don't care. And before there were Republicans, Mother Nature didn't care. That always makes people mad. Why do I say that? I'm just trying to invoke a reaction, man. Just trying to revoke a reaction. When oil stocks were plummeting, I would say shit about oil stocks and fuck with electric, you know, like solar and electrical, and fuck with the people that own Tesla. Why? I'm trying to get a reaction out of them. Why? Because I'm trying to grow my following. And if you say the same thing they say, why would they follow you? Nobody's following themselves. You get what I'm saying? So at my little get-together, we're going to talk about growing your social media. And I don't even mean, everybody should be an influencer. And I don't mean like you're trying to pursue it, like to make money, like you see a YouTuber. Fuck YouTube. They can keep their money. I don't want to be monetized on YouTube. I want to sell my books to my people, to people who are interested in what I have to say. Fuck YouTube and a bunch of people I don't know watching a video. If that means that I have to somehow be in some little box and say they're bullshit and ask people, fuck that. I don't need to do that, right? I'm looking for people who are looking for me. That's influence, man. That's influencing people. Being an influencer ain't new. Being an influencer should have been your dad. Being an influencer should have been mom. Being an influencer should have been your 4th grade teacher and should be the police officer. Every interaction with a cop should leave you liking the police more, not fucking disliking them. But they don't know that, right? Because life squeezes in on us and it makes it hard, and we miss that big picture that we're all called to influence people. I mean, you run into 30 people a day and you could smile at them or say hi, or you could look at them like a dick. It's up to you. You could let the door shut. Like, that's real, right? That's real. What I'm saying is real. These are your real interactions, and karma owes you based on those interactions. So being a great trader starts with first trying to be a great person. Yeah. It's the intangibles. See, I can sell you a book. I can show you a breakout. I can show you support and resistance on a chart. I can explain to you how to read the MACD and understand the histogram and get super clear. Are you a position trader? Are you a swing trader? Are you a day trader? Inside of each of those, there's subcategory of traders. And the clearer we get defined, then we know the exact pattern we're looking for, and we know exactly what the trigger is, and we know exactly what the profit target is, and we know exactly what the pull the ripcord, I'm bailing on this trade and taking a loss is. That stuff becomes clearly defined because of the way that we live our lives, man. Because of the way we live our lives. So I try to surround myself with people who think like that. And if they carry a lot of baggage or, don't feel like they're going to defend the kingdom with me, I start to separate myself from them. First, you start emotionally. There are people that will hinder your trading. Now, there's 3 key parts to trading: money, method, and mindset. That's obvious. That's pretty much life. But then trading's broke up into its little component parts of what's an entry look like. You mean, what do you mean? I mean, what triggers you to click buy on your computer? What is it? If you tell me it's a fucking post or something as simple as that can get you to move, or because one particular influencer likes it, and the moment they mention it, you just click the button, I'm really going to be disappointed in you. And if that's the case, you have got to come to my event on the 11th. I'm going to show you how to find stocks for life. You won't need that anymore. This morning on Instagram, I said, and I meant it, but it was kind of being a dick, but I mean it. And I don't mean digging about. I mean, it's just sarcastic. Let's rephrase that, because I'm not a dick at all. The guy showed a stock, and I said, what did I say? I don't like what. I think I had an H&R Block, and they said some stock, and I said the reason I don't like yours is I didn't pick it. I was just joking. I mean, it obviously could have been a better pick than mine. And to tell you how this works, Activision, ADVTI, right? I brought it up on my lives. I'd mention it inside our Discord, not a lot, but a couple times. Other people had too. The stock had fallen massive. A friend of mine that works on Wall Street called me and goes, dude, what do you think about Activision? And I went and read the story and looked at the chart, and I'm looking at fundamentals. Why has this stock come down? And you say, why does that matter? Because that helps me determine what is the play here. I'm trying to get rich. So if I go to move money into there, it could be $10,000, $20,000. I need to ask myself, what is the entry to this stock? Well, for me, it's called a stage one. And you know how I define a stage one. 4 days where prices stop dropping, has started to go sideways. That I would officially call a stage one on a chart. Now, I'm also at the same time going to go look to see fundamentally what are people who have MBAs and masters in finance, what do they think about this stock? And so I spend about $2,000 a year on fundamental research, various things that I look at to help me determine, and often they all agree. And you say, why would you have all three? Just confirmation makes me feel good. It ain't that goddamn expensive, and I like reading them. You know, some guys go deer hunting, spend $3,000 a year. I spend that on stock newsletters and shit like Tip Ranks and Morningstar. And, you know, I subscribe to their dividend, several different dividend newsletters, right? Access to stock charts, access to the tools that I need, maybe Fenvid, like there's all kinds of this stuff out there. And periodically I'm rotating things. I'm looking at something new and different. But here's what I'm not doing, is I'm not changing my strategy. And often I need these sources for the stocks that I've found, not necessarily to give me stock ideas. Now they could lead, I could read which led to, or a phone call from a friend that says, hey, what do you think of this stock? And I go look and it's undervalued. Now at that point I have a decision to make. Do I let my mind wander, or do I write this down in my notebook? And I started selling these money flow journals. And if you ever see mine, I'm holding it up on the YouTube thing right now. Got the MFG logo. It's just filled with ticker symbols. Some of it don't even make sense. This is all inputs that are coming at me every day that have something to do with either growing my business, a stock that I came across, a conversation I had, a book I should read, something I did see on TV, a commercial, a note, something about life and the money flow that could help me prosper. That's what that is, my prosperity journal. And it might be a quote, it might be a YouTube video, it might be a reminder, it might be a couple stock tickers. It's filled with stock tickers. And I believe that I will be given ones that'll make me a lot of money. Now, does it cost any money to think that? No. Well, that falls under mindset, right? Money, method, mindset. The method. I was so convinced of the method that I wrote it in a book. Not for you. That was for me. That was my trading plan. Because I had this mentor, and he told me a life worth living was a life worth documenting. And I said, what if I die and nobody knows how to do this? And you say, well, somebody else, I've never seen anybody teach it the way I do. I get it. There's people that use something similar, but they weren't teaching the money flow. They weren't breaking down the difference between swing trading and position trading and targeting the stage ones and how to implement that into your buy and hold. They may have been teaching a piece or a bit or a part, but not the cumulative that I had put together, because I couldn't find it. I'd go look and I get bored with this guy and I go here and I'm like, this is bullshit. And I'm looking at them like, this motherfucker's buying and it's a 69 RSI. And I'm watching CNBC and I'm like, what the fuck? Like, he's saying to sell this, the RSI 62, it's gone straight down, it's already lost half, you know. And I would just see all this just nonsense. Like there was no consistency in any of it, man. And I realized that the news is just full of shit. It's like drama central, filled with bits and pieces of the tickers of the pieces of the market that are moving. Meaning they're going to make up some stories or get a story or get a guy's opinion on why oil went up $1. If oil moves 25 cents at the end of the day, they will have a reason for that move. Now, they don't know anyone that actually purchased the oil or sold the oil contracts or works on a tanker or pumped it out of the ground, or they don't know. When truth is, that's just price floating, right? But there's always a story. And then if it goes a little bit, they got to change the narrative to plunges. The price plunged to stock, like cry, like they use these adjectives, these descriptive words. And truth is, in the money flow, it was a 4% drop. It's a stage 4 decline right now. Then say it's a stage 4 plunge decline. Meaning they added that descriptive word to put thoughts. I'm getting shot at. To put thoughts. God damn. Sometimes they bust caps here. It happens in New Orleans too, and it's not in the country. That's all used to put thoughts in your head. They're trying to influence you. But you remember what I said, in order for you to be a successful trader, you have to become an influencer. And I said, not the kind of influencer that most people think, but a person who can influence themselves. You got to influence you, broette. You got to influence you. You got to get the intangibles you can't buy. The knowledge part isn't that difficult. On February 12th, what we're doing, my house is 200 years old in the French Quarter. Really old, beautiful home. Very, very expensive in that area. And that's not to brag, I'm just saying there's a limited supply. There's 2,200 homes in the entire French Quarter. It's an historical area. There's not many areas like this in America. It's like downtown Paris, or well, Paris is way older, but it's the equivalent in America because it's one of the oldest cities in America. And you could say, well, yeah, so is New York. Yeah, okay, well, go find me a 200-year-old house in New York where a bunch of people are living in it. Go find me 1,000 of them, much less 2,200 of them in a neighborhood. You're not going to find that. So it's a very historic place. And right down the street from my house is a pirate bar that was basically a pawn shop for stolen loot, man, pre-America. So my point is that it's really old and really cool. They've been doing the money flow game there since 1600s, man, late 1600s. And so Friday and Saturday, on Saturday I'm going to talk about real estate. Buying, finding single family properties in your area, managing them. Assuming somebody wants to hear it. Do some numbers on a whiteboard, go through some deals. Hopefully you'll bring your computer and we can look at your stuff, man. And there'll be people there that own, last time I did it, there was a guy there with 22 houses. So you're in what is that? What is that group? Jesus said, where 2 or more gathered, there's power. Now I know people think you can do that on Zoom, and you can do that, and you can get a little bit of it. But everything that's ever changed my life, I witnessed in person. It's one thing to see Iraq on your television. It's another thing to be standing knee-deep in a fucking desert with a rifle. It's a different perspective, right? You're there, you're seeing it, and I've seen pictures of the Great Wall of China, but I'd really like to see it for myself. My friend, the professor, is my special guest there. He's going to talk day trading. I'm going to talk swing trading and what I call position trading the money flow way. And then, like I said, the next day we're going to talk real estate. And I have no doubt there'll be traders there better than me. Now, they don't know the money flow better than me. Nobody does. Nobody knows it. It's not a religion to them. I've lived it, man, for a very long time, every day. Don't give a fuck about any other strategy or thing at all. Gives less than 2 fucks. And you're like, well, what if that's better? Don't give a shit. What is that? Commitment? That's rare, man, what I just said to you. But it's the only way I know to be successful. And I'm not saying I haven't changed my mind on things over the years, and I'm not saying you shouldn't either, but at some point, you got to influence you. And at some point, you got to commit to some shit. And at some point, that lasts more than a quarter or a cycle. Like, that starts to take a toll. Life is a trade, and that's why I called it that. Because everybody's a trader. You may not be a day trader like my friend, the professor. You may not be a swing trader like a lot of my friends, or even a position trader. But you are a time trader. You're a skill set trader. You trade your attention. Whatever you put your attention on, you've taken it off something else. That I know. whether it be an instrument or working out, reading, or following. I mean, at some point you gave up on the dreams you had when you were in high school and you said, fuck it, I'll just drive a bus. I don't think anybody wanted to do that. You know, I didn't grow up wanting to mow yards. That wasn't my big ambition, to go to the army, go fight, go to 2 war zones, and then come home and be a yard guy. That wasn't the, you know, but I needed to eat. Intangibles. I can't teach that. I can remind you of it, but you have to teach you that. I mean, I can remind you of work ethic, but you have to get the work ethic. That's not in a book. You're not going to read that. Right? You get what I'm saying? Meaning, at some point, I was willing to do whatever the fuck I got to do to get this done. And it was, you know, I wanted to go in business for myself. I don't care if that was selling snow cones. But see, that's an extreme commitment, right? Like that, what I'm saying, like I'm following the money flow irregardless. I'm not open to other things. I'm not open to them. Other people can't get there, man, with that kind of conviction or that kind of, it takes time. And only you can do that to you. And it may not be for you. And this is, maybe you apply this to something else. But I know anybody who's great at anything didn't get there half-assing it and kind of being committed and, yeah, we'll see how this goes, like the people I talk to. No, you know, there wasn't many other options. And I guess that's the people that I look to. I think, man, George Washington was a great trader. I mean, what the fuck does he have to do with trading? He had all the intangibles, man. You know? I mean, if I had those characteristics, if I could see that big, if I could see the trade, why don't we create a new country? It's like, why don't we buy Bitcoin? And everybody around you is like, are you fucking stupid? It's nothing. It doesn't do anything. It doesn't, it's, why would you, it's a scam. You ever hear that? Yeah, George Washington heard that too. You say, what? Man, it's not even the same. Yeah, well, that's who I'm looking at. Like these characters of the money flow are all around us. It's people that have courage. Well, how do you think you become a good trader? Courage, positive self-talk, direction, fucking plan, sticking to it, right? Letting people know you're doing that. Some of you guys are trading in secret. You're like little closet traders. Need to come out of the closet. Need to be more like Elton John. His fucking pink polka dotted jacket. I ain't even... Everybody knows what I am. Everybody knows what I'm about. Everybody knows what my talent is. And then he starts playing. Not embarrassed. Not being all shy in the corner. That's how you buy real estate, man. I'm telling the kid that. He said, what do you mean? I said, man, you better listen to my message on the alpha code. You think the money flows about fucking numbers and things cross. I could teach a 3rd grader to look at a chart and draw a line and go, there's a box, there's a fucking breakout. There, I mean, it is, dude, that's why I talk about it like that. That shit is easy. In one day, on February 11th, if you were at my house, I could show you that, and if you walk out of here and don't understand that, you chose not to master it. It's not that damn complicated. And that can be solved in one weekend. So there's zero reason for anyone that knows me to be fucking confused at all about charts. If you've spent more than 10 minutes with me, or in a live, or on a YouTube video, or at my house, you just don't want to learn. Because it's that simple. You just put your mind on it, see it, open your eyes to the pattern, let it start to materialize, and then believe the shit works. But the problem is people haven't convinced themselves. The problem is they're still trying to deal with fucking intangibles that you can't buy in a book or a course. Fear, doubt, disbelief. What if they laugh at me? Give a fuck. Everyone around me knows I own Bitcoin. You are hiding. Oh, I'm in a closet. I don't want them to know. All right, well, when they're poor, you can look back and remember, man, what good karma would I have had if I'd have told them about it? I am an evangelist for wealth. I told a guy that one day. I said, I'm a preacher of plenty, man. He said, what do you do for a living? I said, I'm an ambassador of opportunity. He said, what is that? You work for the government? This is a true story. I'm at a party and I was a little lit. I like to get lit. Probably a bad characteristic of mine. But if that's my only fucking problem in life, if that's the one bad thing I'm doing is I tend to get lit, then I think I'm doing okay. And because I've helped thousands of people. And I mean, I've documented hundreds, so you can go ahead and extrapolate that out from the people that told me. I assume it's true. All I can do is assume, but some of them show me the accounts. And it's not something I did, it's something they already knew how to do. They just got redirected, man. I mean, there's nothing new under the sun. Just like I didn't invent the MACD, you know, the guy who invented the MACD got it from another dude who got it from a dude. You know, it's just numbers, it's just math, it's just averages, crossovers. That's not new. The Chinese were doing it. That's why we have candlesticks. Chinese have been doing this kind of shit for, you know, this is not brand new, man. You know, Bitcoin's not brand new. Like, it's brand new now, right? But before Bitcoin, what was it? There's another currency. Before that, what was there? It was another new technology. You know, I remember when my parents were like, well, I don't need email. That's what post office for, dummy. You're like, no, it's free. You just hit the button. And they were going to tax it, man. Like the American government was considering taxing email. Think how stupid that would have been. How easy to get around that would be. When I was a kid, I'm 51. I'm not that old, but I lived a couple days. When I was a kid, the television was the one-eyed devil. My grandma used to say that to me. This boy watches the one-eyed devil. She was from Louisiana. She was what we called a coon ass. I don't know if that's a derogatory term now, but it's white folks that live in the country, you know, and probably don't act that white. That's what that usually meant. Like, they were coon asses. That's what we called them. And my grandma was that, and she spoke a little French and a little Creole, a little English. It was like her own made-up dialect. She'd always tell me, that boy's always watching the one-eyed devil. That's what she thought television was. She thought it was the one-eyed devil. How would we explain Bitcoin to her? You get what I'm saying? We get mad at Buffett. People make fun of him. It's like, man, are you stupid? That guy's a billionaire. Fourth richest man on planet Earth. He can be stupid. Like, getting rich isn't about sophistication. That's what that means, if you get what I'm saying. Like, one of the guys that I personally knew who owned the most real estate that I could verify and document and actually saw it and knew this is a fact. This is not made up. None of this is rented. This is legit. He's worth like 20 million bucks, has 120 something properties. Never went to college. Didn't have a high paying job. You know what he did? He just was convicted to a very simple process over and 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 over, and he never went squirrel. Oh, let me try this. Oh, let me go do that. Oh, what about this? Oh, my boyfriend, I gotta stop trading for a while because they're closet traders. Nah, man, he's like fucking Elton John. Everyone around him knows what he does. He buys houses, he fixes them. From time to time, he sells one to get a bunch of money so he can keep going, so he can buy houses and fix them and rent them. Well, guess what? When you do that for like 10 years and you got $25,000 a month in rent coming in, you get to do what you want to do. And guess what he wanted to do? Do more of that. So guess what happens? By the very nature of his life, by him just being alive and giving testimony to the shit he likes to do, he gets richer and richer and richer and richer. Same as Elton John. He doesn't go, don't let me not tell Aunt Mary what I do. He ain't doing that. And at a certain point, he don't even see himself as like a real estate. This is what I do. I buy real estate. You know, you're a stock trader. To me, it's more like you're not. You know what I'm saying? Like, for me to trade stocks or to own oil stocks or to own shit and be constantly looking for stuff on sale. Today I bought 1 share of CRM. That is not a big fucking deal. $230, right? Does that change my life at all? No. And you say, well, why'd you do $230? I put it in my SEP IRA. I got till April 15th. I'm gonna bang it every day. What do you mean? So, well, this last week I put $2,200 into my SEP IRA. This week I'm at 239 or whatever it was, 236. Tomorrow I'm gonna put some in. The next day, so I need to make money, right? I gotta work, man, whatever that is. Now for me, that looks like a lot of different things. I have royalties. For things I did over. Some of them are small. I got one deal. I get like a $200 check a month. It's like $218. You know, I collect like $14,000 a month in rent. You know, I got that little thing going. What else? I got like 60 something stocks that throw me off a little money almost every day. Not every day, but almost every day. Right? So some of that money goes to cash. Some of that money goes right back into buying more stocks. Well, if the dividend drip's hitting the stocks, probably not a stock I'm focused much on. I'm focused on something else, right? I own some REITs. I have some money in the lending business, right? I sell books, right? So I do other things, man. My real estate's very profitable because I self-manage it. We're going to talk about that on February 12th. If you come to our Life is a Trade event. I'm going to post that link tomorrow. I've only got 8 spots because we're doing it at my home, okay? We're going to eat some New Orleans food, some red beans, some rice. Got drinks, beer, wine, all that good stuff. And we're going to talk trading, you know. We're going to have a guest. I'm going to shoot my first in that series of Life is a Trade with the Day Trade Professor. And, you know, he trades different than I do, but the basics are the same. The intangibles are all the same. And I'd like to also talk about social media. I know a lot of people that follow me, a lot of my members and stuff, they have businesses or they do a side hustle or a project, and you're like, fuck, I don't have anybody to sell anything to. I'm like, I know, nobody knows who you are, dude. You know, nobody gives a fuck. You're just posting pictures of, you know, you standing there. Meaning we got to give them some kind of reason to follow you. And when you can turn your work into art, I'm trying to think of a good example of you to get this. Meaning, I don't care if you're a chef, a dog trainer, a fitness person. Dude, you could change tires at fucking whatever. There's a way to be the alpha in that setup, man. You know, there's like, who's the go-to guy if you come into here or there? Whenever you get to a place that's always in disarray, you don't have any alphas. You know, you don't have the guy that comes in early, stays late, does what the fuck he's told. He's probably ahead of you, and the business would definitely suffer if this person left, or if she left. It might not even survive. And that's how you make more money. You understand that, right? Like, people have to notice if you're gone. You know? Money comes usually through some talent like that, man. And when you use a word like talent, a lot of times people think you mean like, well, I'm not a talented trader. Ain't a such thing, man. They just, you know, they might have some characteristics that lend itself to being a better musician or a better artist, but trading and investing, there's art to it in the sense that, like, maybe what I do, trying to teach it and talk about it, and what the Day Trade Professor does and other people, there's maybe some art to that. And I do believe there's art to your own trading. And when I look at stock charts, it's one of my most valuable possessions. And people say, what do you mean? I said, listen, up there with my beach house is stock charts. And you're like, what do you mean? I don't mean the company stock charts. I mean stock charts. The fucking charts themselves, man. Like, that is me. For 21 years, every morning I look at charts. I look at them every day. I bet you haven't done that. Have you? Every day? You say you didn't do it every day. Every day. Yeah, I can't think of one that I've missed. Even through tragedies in my life, I can't think of one. Can't buy that in a book. You can't get that from me in a course. Because I can't make you do that. Right? That's an intangible. What happens if you do that? What happens if you're following the same stocks I'm following? I follow about 150 stocks. It's in my newsletter, Peers Report. I bet none of you follow the same ones I follow. What if we're both doing that? Jesus said, where two or more gathered, there's power. What if we were on the same page like that? It's hard to be on the same page like that, even in groups of people. Groups begin to splinter. There's little fractions. There's little certain cliques inside of groups. There's always a few people that are offended. There's always something in a group, man. You know? It's in every group. It's human nature. You know? But there is something to that, man. There's power. There's power in that. Zynga. You know, I talked a lot about Zynga. I put it in my newsletter. And that's the Elton John part of my trading, meaning I'm trying to make sure everyone around me knows it or sees it the best I can without coming to their house and just literally knocking. Hey man, what do you think about Zynga? And it's one of the hard positions of my life because I can only take in so much information and I can only look at so many stocks or NFTs or cryptos or real estate. And when you're a guy like myself, and I'm in there doing this, I got 17 properties under management, right? And I got people I'm dealing with. I've got classes to teach. I've got content I'm making, videos to edit, coming up with stuff, trying to coordinate things. Oh, by the way, I am a full-time trader. So I'm watching charts, I'm watching stocks. And on top of that, I'm going to try to share with people what I'm seeing. And in the midst of all of that, plus trying to have a social life, I said I like to drink a lot. You know that. And you can only take in so much, man. You can only have clear focus on so many things. You can only get spread so far. And you're not going to be great at everything, you know. I can't be great at video editing. I can, but then I got to give up something else. Why? Life is a trade, man. Life is a trade. And that's the danger of squirrel. Oh, I was following this simple strategy. It worked, but now I'm doing this. You know? You see the quandary there? Most of the time, conviction, everybody likes to talk tough, like, oh man, if I was in the Navy, I'd have been a Navy SEAL. If I'd have been in, 2008, man, I can't wait till, Everybody talks tough afterwards. But they ain't doing that with growth stocks right now. But everybody's tough on those dividend stocks. Oh, I knew I should have loaded up on those. Yeah, after the fact, man. After the fact. Give me followers. I lost preaching to people to buy Exxon. They were like, fuck this guy. You know how many followers I argued with that Exxon isn't going anywhere, you dummies? They were like posting the stupidest articles. Posting this. Hopefully you can still hear me. I just got a call come in. Somebody make a noise if you, well, it shows me still talking, so. And I'd rile them up, man. Why? I got conviction, baby. I rode that Exxon to $28, buying it the whole way down. Go look at it now. Now, I'm not trying to say I've done that with every play or gotten that right on every turn, but go look at Philip Morris, PM. See, if you had your money flow journal, you write that in there right now. And last year we added, or I did, and I try to telegraph and tell everyone, that's what I do inside the Money Flow gang, at least for exercise purposes. I'll let you know. I only add like 2, maybe 3 buy and hold stocks a year. You know, I actually add more now just because I have followers than when it was just me. I would usually try to buy 1 or 2. Why? Because I needed time to put money in the damn thing. So I would buy it with, say, $300, $600. I'd go buy 8 shares of this stock. And then hopefully I'd get some more money. Hopefully, you know, it would stay down for a minute because I'm position trading and I'm not day trading. I didn't have to make these decisions so fast. So I would build the position over time. Add to this, stage 1 comes down, add to this stage 1, collect some dividends, comes down to here. Well, in a 6 or 8 month period, you'll go see, you start going through the cycle. Stage 1 runs up, maybe don't go that far, comes back down, right? We're playing it. Go look at oil. And this is a 2-year fucking swing. Runs up, then it came down for a long time, and then it started going. Now we're back to the up part. Go look at Ford. And no, it's not gonna work on every stock, and you're gonna have some, you'll be like, I calling it, man. It's been 3 years, bro. It's been 3 years. So I had one, CSX Trains. 2.5 years I owned that stock in the red. And I'd nibble, and that thing would run up, and I'd be green for a minute, you know. And then it'd come back down red. But basically, it stayed red for 2 years as Obama just nailed the coal industry. And I'd go read on it, and I'm like, man, these guys are not going out of business. Still paying their dividend. I just started buying 5 shares, 10 shares, 20 shares for 2 years, man. It's just one of, you know, I only got so many stocks in my buy and hold. Put money in. Which one's the best deal? Now, the money flow is going to sort and select for you. Some of these stocks are going to be like right now, LMT, we added last year. It's on almost 70 RSI. We're not adding to that. So even though you have all these different stocks, you're not adding to all of them, right? If anything, we could trim that one if we bought a decent size. And do what? Well, take the trimming and put it into what? Target. Go look at the stock of Target. Target is the opposite of IBM, the opposite of Exxon, the opposite of what? What's its dividend? So we could take some gains on the one, put it up while holding the shares and apply it to the new position where we're putting in new money. We say we're going to buy 5 shares with our own money, plus we're going to trim 3 stocks that hit a 70 RSI. We're going to start establishing this target position. This may not pay off for a year or 2. I'm harvesting shit from last 6 months. The last time followers unfollowed me or got pissed that the stock didn't go up in their little quarterly fucking payment. I hate even doing that. It makes me sick. I hate like the monthly and quarterly, but it's business, man. What am I going to do? Teach them every day free? I mean, answer the text messages all day. I answer like 100 messages a day. 100. You do that? When I say 100, I mean 100 individual people. You do that? You do that for something you love? Yeah, but I'm Elton John, man. Everybody knows what I do. That's why they ask. Imagine if I was a rapper, they'd probably be downloading my raps. Why? Because they know me. I got their attention for a minute, doing something. I don't know how you ain't making money as a rapper, man. Let me be able to fucking rap. I mean, how many books I'd sell? Man. One of you guys need to train me to rap, man. I keep asking rappers for a money flow rap, and these lazy bastards, not one of them has got me one. No wonder you ain't a famous fucking rapper. It takes you too long to write a song, man. I've written books faster. What is that about, man? Now, so think of this. I got 115,000 followers on Instagram. I want people to know my music. Do you? Because if you let me have some, everybody would see it. Not everybody, but my little world would see it. Let me stop right there. What I just described to you is the money flow. But I got to go say it to the guy. He read my book. He's got the damn course. He's watching the stocks. And there's this little money drip right there. But I still got to go knock on. Hello, Mr. Rapper. Mr. Rapper, Could I show your songs to 2,000, 3,000, 5,000 people a day that watch my videos, click on links, look at my newsletter? Could I do that? Why wouldn't one come to me on their own? You see me put music in my videos, man. It don't make any sense. That's just one in 20 examples off the top of my head that come to me every day. And I think, man, I wish they understood the money flow. It's all the intangibles. It ain't the charts, man. I can show anybody that shit. You're still having trouble with charts and indicators. You just don't want to know. Let's just be real. What if we kept it real? You come see me on the 11th. You leave there and you can't trade on charts. You got some. Maybe you need to go to a doctor. That's a bold statement, don't you think, for a guy that trades to say that to you? But I know that. I've done it over and over and over and over. But I think that's the easy part. That's the part everybody wants, but that's the easy part. It's all the other parts, man. It's that intangible. It's getting in to see the world through the eyes of the money flow, to where when you look at charts, that's what you see is the money flow. And you're not seeing other things. And most people are seeing 6 and 7 things, trying to be a jack of all trades. Sometimes I'm a swing trader. Sometimes I'm a day trader. I'm kind of a quasi-ass half buy and holder unless I don't like the news. And then, you know what I mean? They're just kind of scattered all over the place. And you can be each of those things, but each of those things come with different intangibles attached to them. So if you're going to be in buy and hold, you really have to be down with this conviction thing, or you'll never be successful. And when Netflix falls 60% in 2011 during that little mini tech crash, little taper tantrum they did, you probably don't even remember it, right? That was over a decade ago when that happened. It was one of the great buying opportunities of my life, and it's not even fucking talked about anymore on TV. We just talked COVID, 2008. There's been other sell-offs, guys. There's been all kinds of oil crashes. It's happened a bunch of times. It'll happen again, right? There's been, meme stocks aren't new. We had all kinds of meme stocks. BlackBerry. There were all kinds. There's always been that stuff, man. Nothing's new, man. Nothing's new right now. You know, not even the concept of Bitcoin. While itself, the technology's new, the idea of a new technology that the old people didn't embrace is fucking common as human race, man. And so what that makes it good for us, because then now we see a blueprint, and I bring this all back to wrap it all up at the beginning, that all of trading, all of life, all of investing to be successful comes down to a very simple formula. Time times amount times yield. And when you get that formula and you start to input data into the time times amount times yield, I just blew some of your fucking minds. Don't even understand what I just said. That's the formula to get rich. What would time look like? Back to my friend the rapper. Well, the time you would just stop what the fuck you're doing, write me something and send it to me. Look what just happened. If you'd have done that 30 days ago, you'd be 100,000 views up. So, in the time equation, put 0. There's 0 on that one. Amount, well, I don't know. How much time did it take you? How much, you had to record it. You get it? Or a book, or a course, or a cupcake, or a snow cone. I mean, I don't know. I'm just giving you examples. Time, same in weightlifting, right? How much time you put in, amount, how much effort, how much weight are you lifting, amount, right? And then yield. Is the workout, is the investment, is the trade, is the position trade, is it producing yield? And you say, well, no, my position trade, as I said, well, the position trade isn't done in that time frame. The game's not over. I don't do this 12 months. And sometimes people will say to me, well, what did you, because I always get the smart guy, just read a bunch of fucking books, and now he's convinced that only you can, index funds is the only way. You can't beat it. All right, then shut the fuck up. Why are you talking to me? Go do it. That's it. Go do it. They don't need to convert me, man. I know that's bullshit. I don't need to read a thing by Vanguard that was put out by Vanguard to provide them with all the money in the world. Yeah, I get their little scheme, man. And because a bunch of people believe it and teach it, And because it does work, absolutely. And you know how many people became a millionaire from that? How many you know? I mean, the Forbes list is full of them. None. Not fucking one. There's nobody on the Forbes list that if you interview them go, man, I'm be honest, all I did was put my money in a Vanguard fucking VU fund. That was it. Nobody. Now, it'd be millionaires if you're an engineer. But bro, if you're working at Walmart, that's not getting you rich. Let's keep it real. Now, they'll tell you that shit because they can be sued by you. I ain't got a license. You can't sue me. You're the dumbass that listened. Get what I'm saying? But if you go see a licensed professional, they got a license. They got to tell you what they know won't blow you out. And guess what works? Index funds. I buy them too, but guess when I like to buy them? When they go below 30 RSI, I start dripping into the SPY. I love it. Buy a little SPY. Why? Because it's a no-brainer, man. If every time, QQQ, if every time it's on an extreme rating, you just start nibbling and you don't sell, you're going to have a bunch of money at the end of your life. So that works. But just like it works for the index fund, it works for stocks, man. And also you have a brain. And also you can observe things. And also you can apply yourself. And there's the power of prayer and faith and fucking conviction and watching and studying history and applying yourself times them out, right? And you could go, well, I know a lot about the restaurant business. I've worked in one. So how have you washed dishes for 12 years and can't tell me a good fucking restaurant? He has 12 years of one-day experience. You ever meet the guy who's got 12 years of 1 month experience? Meaning in 12 years, he hasn't learned the big picture. He's still just doing the one-day thing. You know, you're a 12-year fry cook. You know, how much advice is he going to give you on restaurant management? Not much. He never managed one. He just cooked fries for 12 years. That one task, he's real good. You know? That's not us, right? That's not how we get to where we're going, at least. We need to have more, do more, be more. We got to grow. We got to expand, man. So I can teach you trading. That's what we're going to do if you come February. I'll put a link up tomorrow on my Instagram. There's only 8 seats, man. So, because it's at my house. So best behavior. I'll wrap this up, man. We had a few people, man. I appreciate everybody listening. If you hit my bio link here on Twitter or Instagram or anywhere, that you'll see my name. You click it. Usually whatever I'm pushing at the time, you see I kind of rotate around. Sometimes my newsletter, sometimes it's this, sometimes it's that. That's just to change up what I'm talking about. I'll put that link on there tomorrow. I'm letting the professor, my guest, bring a couple people first before the money flow crazies jump on it. And there'll be a few other people there, maybe another influencer. I had to leave a little room for that possibility, and maybe a real estate one if I can get him to commit. I don't want to say because he hasn't committed. And we're going to do after party on Bourbon Street, man. And anyway, click my bio link, get to the newsletter, follow the stocks I'm following. In case I miss them, you can let me know. And keep an eye on CRM. Don't get overly excited right now. A lot of these stocks are in stage 4 declines. If you do like index funds and position trading and buy and hold type, the way I like to trade with the position trade, this is a wonderful time to be alive, guys. We are really have an opportunity here. I know it don't feel like it, but I'm very excited about that. I really feel like I was given a gift, and I've really got to maximize it this year. I got to stay focused. I got to accumulate Palantir and PayPal and Square, some more ARK. At the same time, I got to manage these buying. Like, I've really got to do it well, because I think we have a window, and I am not in the slightest bit nervous or worried or bearish. I am really excited. And if you're brand new to the stock market, oh my God, you're being given a gift that's, if you don't own Bitcoin right now and you're getting a chance to, you're a lucky bastard. And if that doesn't register with you, maybe I don't know, maybe I can't help you. especially if you're just getting going in these growth stocks. What a blessing, man. One man's foreclosure is another man's opportunity, man. God bless you guys. Appreciate you, YouTube. Hopefully I didn't babble on too long. I hope you got those things that I was trying to say, those intangibles, the Elton John, the hope I didn't go too far out there with that. Hey, I'm going to have 8 spots at my house. Now I'm sure I did a commercial for it on the video. I'd love to see you there. I'd love to help you, you know. I'd love to help you get your, whatever it is you're working on, man. Let's do what we can do, man. Let's get your trading tight. Let's get your position trade. Let's get your swing trades. Let's get your buy and holds. Let's get your mind on real estate right. Let's get you focused on the 10 pillars of success. Let's get you going on the 3 keys. Let's, like this money flow, this could turn shit around for you and change like so much. Or maybe I'm being a drama queen. I don't know. I hope it helps. God bless.